All right, everybody. Miscommunicated with Davis, so not going to have him on today. He's going to come on next week. I asked him, can you come on in an hour? He said yes. And then he said, I didn't mean this week. So classic Davis. Anyways, we're here to fill a drafters, a total point format. Let's do this. All right, let me get my screen shared here. Let's get you guys this camera angle. So for those who don't know, drafters, if you're watching this, there is a link in the YouTube description below to get up on the site. I believe it's a $100 deposit match. Don't quote me on that, though. Drafters, one of the smaller best ball sites in comparison to DraftKings and Underdog. Probably the third biggest, if I had to guess. Maybe FFPC. But they offer their own type of big lottery field best ball contest where it's $20. First prize is $300,000. And unlike DraftKings, unlike Underdog, where they have playoff weeks, it's just a cumulative points format, meaning the points you score weeks 1 through 17, whoever scores the most wins. So we're going to definitely max this contest. They offer all kinds of promotions, and they most likely will overlay, which if you don't know what overlay is, it means when the contest does not fill, the prize pool is generally guaranteed, right? So whether this gets 5 more entrants, whether this gets 20,000 more entrants, the prize pool is guaranteed. If not as many people fill it, what they do on the playoff format sites is they start taking wild card teams that will get third place teams, etc., that scored the most points. They will now make the playoffs. So that's great for you as a drafter. What they do on drafters is obviously there's just less people competing for the prize pool. So you're more likely to cash. You're more likely to win. Cumulative season. Let's go, Jack. Yeah, we like to get some drafters in. Usually Davis and I do them. I'm not trying to give out my Best Ball Mania 4 EV, so keeping those close to the vest. I will try to zoom in for you guys. Let's go here. Let's go, Jeff. 20 watching, 7 likes. Like and subscribe. Come on now. Help me out. I'm going to be honest. I don't like to stream every single day. Today's Friday, but we got to during the season. We are closing in on our 2,000 subscriber goal, our first mini goal of the channel this season. So help us out with that. I think we're 30 away. Thank you all for your support and for watching. So we pulled the 109 here. You can see, cool thing about drafters is it tells you how many teams you've done. So this is my 48th. I can see this is Jim Goober's first. This is Bliff's first. This is Chris's 115th. Paul in the 7 hole. What's going on, Paul? Might have to zoom out a little bit for me to see the players, so I'm going to have to balance that. Giving you guys the best experience and allowing me still to draft my team. I am excited. Training camp news is slowly beginning. It's important to know that most of the news coming out right now, if you're on the Twitter sphere, is rookie camp news. So Rashee Rice catching touchdowns, that's cool, but there's no vets there other than guys like Isaiah Pacheco who were injured. If you're injured, you're allowed to go to rookie camp, I believe. 5th spot. What's up, Quasi? So yeah, I believe Davis and I are going to reschedule for next Thursday for our drafters stream together. I try a lot of different builds for a total points format. Um, Prevailing wisdom in the past. Oh, look, they got the rookie picks in. We're going to go with an Anchor Bijan here. I think getting, prevailing wisdom in the past is that, zero running back couldn't win a cumulative points format because you're just getting buried too much at running back early. We saw zero running back teams smash in drafters as well, but I still think Bijan has the ability to be literally the RB1 overall. Love the Falcons O-line. One of the best prospects of all time. Young, a guy with pretty much zero questions. Maybe the offense is not going to be as good as you hope, but I like Anchor Bijan and then filling out at the other positions. I don't want to get buried at wide receiver. I do think you can't win with like an RB build probably. But I'll do some teams like that too. So Garrett Wilson is a bummer. The ADP is a little bit different here. We're going to go to RB start. We're going to go with Pollard. It was close between Pollard, Waddle, Chubb for me. An elite quarterback as well. Saquon, you could say as well. Just like Pollard's ability to catch passes, if Bijan is slow at all, Pollard should be able to help. Nate asking, am I going to max the weekly winners? I wasn't planning on it, but I had a lot of fun doing a weekly winners draft the other day. Did it on stream. It's a new challenge, and I think it'd be kind of a fun sweat if I got 150 in just during the NFL season. Like if you don't feel like playing DFS that week, or your best ball you don't get immediate results from, you have sweat that week during the season. It's not that much money to max it. It's a solid pay. Nothing saying you can't win 1 or 2 weeks. And I think the way I would build just would be pretty different from the field. So H plays game asking, is drafters best ball? What's special about this? I don't know exactly what you're asking, but if you're asking what best ball is like fantasy football, but the computer puts in your highest scoring players, meaning you draft and you're done. You don't have to manage the team at all. There's no waivers, there's no trading, there's none of that. If you're asking what makes drafters unique, is it's a total points format. So I explained this at the start of the stream, but there's no playoff weeks. It's just whoever scores the most points, weeks 1 through 17, wins the contest. Some people like that more. I'm more of a playoff week guy, but I like the change of pace and challenge of drafters as well. More sweats, during the season for me too. I'm not sure what percentage drafters will get up to. Early guess is maybe only 70% filled. If we look today, it is a little over 10% filled. There's 14,000 entrants. So, I don't know, 13% maybe. And it's a 111,000 entrant contest. There's also a link in the YouTube description below to join my Discord. The Discord, very active people giving feedback on their best ball teams and everything. Make sure you join the Discord if you're into best ball and you have Discord. Yeah, I'll do a weekly winner stream for sure, Daniel. I asked Davis if he wanted to do drafters or weekly winners, and he chose drafters. But I'll get one down. If you go back on my Twitter, I did one yesterday with Daniel Raz from the 33rd team. Yes, H play games. There is a deposit bonus for drafters. It's in the YouTube description below. If you use my referral code, you'll get, I believe, a $100 deposit match. I believe also they have a promo where if you play enough entrants in this contest this week, you get a free one. You'll have to look at that. Caven asking, seems like you're higher than most on elite quarterback this year. Reasoning for that? And I'll get to your question in a second here. We're going to take Calvin Ridley. Like the upside, need some wide receivers. I've been higher on elite quarterback the past couple years, especially on a site like Underdog and DraftKings. It's good for different reasons. But, just think through the 2v2s of it. Okay, I show up with Josh Allen and choose your late round wide receiver, Rondale Moore, Isaiah Hodgins. You show up with Derek Carr and Keenan Allen. I'll take the Josh Allen side. There are some late round quarterbacks I like. We did see some of the mid-tier guys produce, the Genos, the Goffs, but they don't have the same ceiling. And when a Hurts or Allen goes for 40, you just need those guys to win. Touch of Green said, you listened to Dan Zach with Justin yesterday? I did. Thoughts on his strategy of not stacking and taking a fourth tight end, holding off on eighth wide receiver, and just trying to scoop ADP value. Dan and I agree in some ways and disagree in others. I've had him on my channel several times. I mean, people don't know this because I didn't talk about it. But last year I drafted like 40 to 50% of my teams in the 5-5-5 on DraftKings had 4+ tight ends. So that is not a. Kind of make this pick real quick. We're gonna go with Christian Kirk, get a little Jag stack in our life. I've been on board with 4 tight ends before I guess people were talking about it. I don't do it as much anymore. I do it sometimes as well. I just felt good about it last year. Those tight ends I was getting were guys like Conklin not being drafted at a high click, Logan Thomas, and they had whatever seasons. But I've not been doing it as much this year. I think 4 tight ends totally viable though. I am someone that likes to scoop ADP value too. I think anyone that drafts a lot of volume, of course you want to scoop ADP value. He doesn't think 0 wide receiver or 0 running back can win. I just disagree. And he cares way more about advance rates than me. Some example math I can give you why I don't care about advance rates is you could advance all 150 of your teams on Underdog in the Best Ball Mania 4. You draft 150, you advance 150. You are not getting a team to the finals that much more often than someone who gets like 30 teams. You're not guaranteed to make a team to the finals if you advance 150 at all, right? So, of course, I want to advance teams. You can't win if they can't advance. Of course, the more teams you advance, it is a little bit more shots on goal, but I disagree that uniqueness is not worth it or advancing different types of builds, all of that. So, and he's not a player take guy. I'm a player take guy. If I made any teams with ETN, Ridley, and Kirk, maybe early. I went like Ridley, ETN, and Kirk was like a round 5 guy, but I don't know. I had some good 4 tight end teams on Underdog as well in the past, but you have to understand the team, like one of my good 4 tight end teams 2 years ago hit the nuts. Like it had Gronk, Dalton Schultz, and Knox, who all like were the 4 tight end smashes. When your 4 tight ends are Cade Otton and Logan Thomas, but the other thing about drafting these late round tight ends is the reason why I've done it too is like I know Cade Otton is making the roster for a team and he's going to score some points. I don't know if you know, Isaiah McKenzie makes the team. I don't know if Chris Moore makes the team. I don't know, I don't know if Kyle Phillips makes the team. I just don't know with a bunch of these cheap wide receivers, right? Yeah, I'm big on stacking. He looked through that, there's reasons why I disagree with that. And I don't know exactly what Dan did, but from talking with him, what I got the sense is he, used a little bit of coding skills. He claims not to be a big coder to look at like advance rates of builds. And I think there's a bunch of things that could be wrong with that process that is not capturing um, the best way to approach it. I don't really feel that much more strongly about any of these players, so we're just going to take Trevor and see who makes it back to us. So I like this build. We got the Jags offense, presumably the top weapons in it, and both our running back spots presumably filled by studs. Yeah, it was a lot of advance rates, Nate, which again, I just think is like a flawed thinking from the get-go, but that's the great thing about best ball is there's more than one way to do it. Someone like me is going to have years where my advance rates are not great and I can still win the contest though. Not that anyone can, but I believe I'm just approaching the contest theoretically correct where I can win. And the fact of the matter is I have never had strong advance rates. But guess what? The years where the guys I draft a lot of smash, I'm advancing a lot of strong teams. Okay, I think Akers is in the mix for me here, and Kittle, and some of the wide receivers. Let's take Kittle, man. Kittle can score 40. Give me a couple weeks of 40. I'll find a consistent guy to give me a floor 10. I'm also more willing to gamble, if you would, with your team, where I view my portfolio overall, right? So, example of something I would do that Dan is against is if you look back at my stream on the 555 that I did with Justin, I drafted Lawrence and Goff, who both have week 9 buys. I know I'm getting a 0 week 9 at the quarterback position. I feel that the uniqueness combo plus my roster was strong enough and I got good ADP value on Goff that I didn't need the third quarterback. Sam Howell, I could have drafted, and I would sometimes. It's not something I do 100% of the times, but I am sometimes purposely taking the 0. And it is totally possible. Yes, I miss out advancing by 15 points and my team would have won the contest. And, if I only had that other quarterback, but it's also totally possible that choose X first round player is like the 40% advance rate player that you need to have. You were going to advance really no matter what. And now you're locked and loaded with, a team. So I'm willing to use a certain percent of my portfolio and do things like that. Whereas Dan is not, because he wants to advance every single one of his teams and thinks that's how you win. And we disagree. Last year's winner on drafters took a 0 at quarterback. No, it had Hurts and Zach Wilson. I mean, we could be talking about different contests, but Had Hurts and Zach Wilson, and it took a 0 several weeks at quarterback and still won. See, touch of green. The thing to me is like the way I view best ball teams is you have your core, which is like your top whatever 10 picks, top 13 picks. And then there's things you can do that you can mix. So I'm not always doing Hardy. I'm not always doing K. Dotton. I mix. Okay, just huge ADP value on Dameon Pierce here. He plays in the Jags division, getting a little division stack. I personally like him. Also would have taken Miles Sanders. Just don't understand why both of them fell so deep. Yeah, I need wideouts. But yeah, like getting Pierce there. Guys, 47 of you rocking with me on this Drafters Draft right now. Please hit the like and subscribe. Help me get to 2,000 subscribers here. We're going to unroll YouTube membership and all that fun jazz soon here. And for the diehards who make it to the end of the streams, refresh the stream at the end and drop a YouTube comment below. Really, you can write anything. It's just for the algorithm. Nice hair, Liam. You need a haircut, Liam. We take positive comments. We take negative comments. H plays games. That's part of the reason we're in on Ridley. He gambles more than me. One of us. One of us. What ADP am I at? 90? Give me Michael Thomas. This room is gobbling up wideouts. Michael Thomas still has a bunch of upside. Like him on a robust running back team. Preston, we mixed up our schedule. Me and Davis are firing it next week together. What I'm saying, Toucher Green, is what I would do at the end of the draft is not the same thing every single time. So you're going to see the picks I take right now. And generally, the way I build is your last couple picks, you can choose your own adventure. You can add an extra quarterback. You can add an extra running back. You can add an extra wide receiver. You can add an extra tight end. It's not often that my team is like, this needs to have this position. Do I draft some teams like that? Of course. Some teams I draft where it's very clear, like, no, these last couple rounds need to go at wide receiver. I'm just like way too thin there. Is the gap between Olave and Thomas too large? Totally possible, in my opinion. Yes, Michael Thomas can get hurt again. Don't come at me, injury crowd. In the end, all you need to do is sun run to first place. Absolutely, baby. And I'm the best there is at that. Sun runner extraordinaire. No one can stay on the surface of the sun. But if you run fast enough, you can have a little visit. All right, so we got a pretty balanced build right now. A 1-3-3-1. Bye weeks, a little bit more important on drafters where it's going to be harder to win the contest if you're taking purposeful zeros. Again, it is a cumulative points format. For sites like Underdog and DraftKings, you would also, all else equal, almost always want to be the second team that advances to the playoffs than the first team, than the highest scoring team. Why is that? Well, the highest scoring team is going to have probably For example, the Justin Jeffersons of last year, aka 50+% of the teams in the playoffs have him. Therefore, you're not separating from the field at all when your guys do well. You can still win with them. It's just harder. But the second place scoring teams probably got more unique combos. All right, coming up on pick 100 here. It's tough at wideout. We're going to take Dak and be done. I don't do this often, but I'm assuming the CD Lamb drafter is on my inside, and he might take him. And I still think Dak's got some upside, Being a 2-quarterback team and stopping allows me to put extra bodies at some of the other more variance positions. What's up, Balls Life? Do you think the Chargers are too old? No, I do not. When doing a 0 running back build, is there such thing as waiting too long to take your first? I mean, for sure, yes. Like, obviously, you can't take your first running back in the 20th round. But I think you can push it sometimes. Would I have taken Ingram there? I would have taken Ingram. Just go all in on the Jags. All right, this is nice with the players making it back to me. I get Lazard or Jameson Williams. I like Jameson Williams more, but on this team, we're going Lazard because he, A, has a week 7 bye. Jameson Williams has a week 9 bye, same as the Jags guys. And Lazard is presumably playing the whole season. Yeah, I think touch of green ass. So when you go back and forth between the sites, you draft off the site's ADP. Did you say you feel DraftKings is most efficient? So you ever take DK ADP rankings to draft your underdog or vice versa? I think people misunderstood what I was trying to say. I do not think DraftKings ADP is overall most efficient. In some pockets of the draft, I think it is. In some pockets of the draft, I think Drafters is most efficient. In some pockets of the draft, I think Underdog's ADP is most efficient. Most drafts are going to be drafted roughly off of ADP. So I like to see the ADP, and I have a rough idea of players that are higher or lower on different sites. I'm not getting super granular with it. I don't have like a spreadsheet. It's not hard to do. I saw Justin had one. But I do know, like, oh, this guy goes here. And obviously, I try to get the guys who are cheaper on certain sites if I like them equally. Cincy 2013 asks, for me, I think the max of 3 pass catchers with a quarterback should be the most you should have. Do you agree? Or would you add a 4th or more? Yeah, I don't agree. I think in general that's a good rule of thumb, but sometimes I'll go giga stacks, if you would. Okay, Michael Gallup goes. That kind of frees me, so I was going to feel obligated to take him. We're going to take Jerick McKinnon then. I would have taken Gallup, but it would have been painful because I still think McKinnon has the upside. We don't need him to play all 17 games. He's definitely he's clearly a tier ahead of these guys. Not saying these guys can't outproduce him, but he's got a week 10 bye. Can King Cap really beat you at chess? I have no idea. He stated that, and then my DMs were open, and I didn't really get hit up about playing. Possible. I don't know how good he is at chess. Probably not. Never stated to be the best chess player in the world. Um, hmm, I want to take Rogers, but we need some wideouts. So we're going Rasheed Rice. I would sometimes go Rogers there and just say, "Oh fuck it, we're lapping the field at quarterback." Some people got mad that I was scrolling up in the video with Justin. I think I kept on doing this. The reason why I do that is when I'm on desktop, I oh oh nice. When I'm on desktop, I have no way of seeing the draft, what other teams are doing, so I have to scroll up to see it. Um, breaking news: I was sitting in the 555 lobby on DraftKings, and that filled for me. And we pulled the 101, and we auto picked, Jamar Chase. So we're going to be multi-tabling. H Plays Game says, I love that you scroll up. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And also, it's like, guys, if it bothers, like, this is mostly an audio pod. Close your eyes. Stevie Ballgame says, very happy to see you go over ADP on Rasheed. Yeah, it wasn't even over ADP. It was more just kind of like reading the room. I'm getting buried at wide receiver a little bit. But I don't draft a lot of the Chiefs guys. So I want to be drafting, and I'm not taking Sky Moore. I will, and guys, understand that how I'm drafting now will change if news break for players during training camp. If Sky Moore is lighting up training camp, of course I'm going to start drafting him. But right now, he just seems he was just bad. The eye test was not great. Carlos, my eyes are closed. I've mentioned this before, but Jamar Chase, I've said all draft season Jamar Chase is my 101. In a 5-5-5, though, I do not want 0 Jefferson. Jamar Chase can get hurt. But Jamar Chase has the highest touchdown prop, 10.5. Justin Jefferson's down at 8.5. Kupp has more than Jefferson at 9.5. FF Doom says, I don't hate McKinnon, but it's so hard for me to take him 4 rounds earlier and a year older than last year. I get it, man. And it's like totally possible he gets cut, but dude won me a championship. Just hard to get his production out of my brain. What does this team need? Needs tight ends. It needs wide receivers. I'm an Isaiah Hodgins guy. Let's get him. Okay. Let's see here. So we're going Josh Allen. We got in our 5-5-5. I'm not going to finish the stream, but I went Josh Allen, Saquon, and Jamar Chase. Saquon fell to me at the 1-2 turn. Is this a serious? What are the Giants doing? Giants have signed Cole Beasley. They have every slot wide receiver in the world. Jamison Crowder. Yeah, who was better at LSU? Exactly, Chase was. FF Doom says 80% Chase for me. I think contests like the DK Millie and Best Ball Mania are the perfect contest to get way over exposure on a guy like Chase. Because you're trying to win first. Same vibe, but let's go Laporta. I'll be right back. Need a quick piss break. I wish I had some like good elevator music, but I don't. Welcome, Nez. Welcome. I mean, how are you guys treating Saquon and Jacobs? I will not let them fall too far if it's me. I do think there is a little bit risk during the season they pull some shenanigans. But I mean, come on. Saquon at the 2-3 turn? Oh, I'm taking Chase 101. So that's why I'm. Chase was also hurt last year. I don't think people really comprehend what that did. So on my drafters team, we got Trevor and Dak, probably done at quarterback. We got Bijan Pollard, Pierce, McKinnon. Strong group of 4 running backs. We got Ridley Kirk, Michael Thomas, Lazard, Rashee Rice, Isaiah Hodgins. So wide receiver room I like with some upside. Obviously, there's question marks. What are you giving me, MT? What are you giving me, Lazard, Rice, Hodgins? Kittle and Laporta, a good group of 2 tight ends. Probably will take a third. Probably not. I mean, what are you expecting Mike Williams to retire next year? I probably keep the T. Higgins. It's like Devonta Smith and T. Higgins call that a tie. Mike Williams versus 2025 second rounder. I'll take Mike Williams. But it really depends if your team is built to win now. You don't like the wideout room 0xd? Got to draft like you're right. We're at pick 50. Justin Fields fell here. Let's see here. All right. I went Scary Terry and Ken Walker. Melvin Gordon to the Ravens. Yeah, that could actually be good news for Gus Edwards. Melvin Gordon has not looked great. Purdy could fit our team. Let's take Juwan. I personally like Juwan a lot early. Scored 7 touchdowns last year. And then ever since Foster Moreau beat cancer, I've cooled off because it's like you got Juwan, you got Taysom, you got Foster. I don't love that. Let's get another share in case I'm wrong and my initial read was right. What do you think about the Bills slot this year? Took me a second with that acronym. Is it Kincaid, Shakir, Hardy, or all of them? Yeah, I think it'll be the chalk guess is Shakir and Kincaid share it. But I also think Hardy, Sherfield mix in. So I wanted to talk to Davis about these guys, but I'll save that for next week because I think they are also like that. Ooh. John Mechie, a guy I take late on teams that I need wideouts, just hoping that he's the one or the two. Saints have a weak schedule, so Juwan is a solid play. Lots of mouths to feed. Yeah, agreed about the mouths to feed, and also just because the Saints are playing a lot of bad teams and they're projected, 9.5 or so wins, they could win a lot of games 20-13, 20-17. Like wins does not always equal fantasy points. Oh, yikes. H plays games. Melvin Gordon was your highest drafted player last year. I can't even. I could never. Okay, so we got a 2-4-7-3 brewing. We'll add some bodies at running back and wide receiver, most likely. Swing for the fences. Who do you guys got for the Jags wide receiver 4? You got LaVisca. You got Agnew. What you think? Smash that subscribe button and hit the like. Try to make the stream subscriber only, an exclusive, gang, if you would. Let me get a poll going in the chat. First of all, 25 likes. Come on, guys. Don't make me like this myself. That's sad. Oh, yeah, LaVisca's in Carolina. I forgot. All right, guys, we got a poll up there. Michael Thomas, yes or no? Let me know. Look, we try to add a little humor here. Oh shit. We do not want to auto in the 555. Wow, Trevor falling way past ADP. Yeah, agreed. Upside too high to fade. 1,000,000%. Wow, guys. Do we take Trevor Lawrence 10 picks past ADP on a Josh Allen team? Probably not. But we think about it. Nope. We went Gabe Davis and Jordan Addison. Don't know what's going on with Jordan Addison, but I do know he's a bet on upside. Do you like Terrace Marshall this year? I mix him in. All right, fuck it. Purdy. Don't need another quarterback. Stacks with Kittle, though. I have way more Trey Lance than Purdy. So past ADP. Arguably don't need the quarterback points, but, So my 5-5-5 team is Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin, Gabe Davis, Jordan Addison, and the running backs are Saquon and Ken Walker. Pretty strong. I have so many late position picks in the 555, the back end of the draft, and like very few at the top, which is a bit of a bummer. Okay, we got to add some bodies here. I mean, we'll just figure out running back. Let's go. Let's go Hardman. I don't know how it sorts out for the Jets, but I kind of like taking some Hardman and Corey Davis. Bit of a team stack with Lazard. Have you still seen Hawk falling a lot in underdog? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I like the Hawk bet a lot this year. I got a lot of Hurts Lawrence teams too, but in general, I don't want to be double elite quarterbacking in a high stakes draft as much. Yeah, I'm a Terrace over Visca guy. I recognize that can be wrong. Willing to adjust. Purdy. We don't steal bits on this channel. H plays games. I know Pete Overzet is in the thumbnail. I refuse to change the thumbnail because again, Davis was supposed to be on with us today, but we're not stealing that bit. Hawk falls a lot on DraftKings too. Let's see where he went in drafters. Yeah, he went early in drafters. I like him on PPR sites. I'm an elite tight end guy though. Hey, we got a super chat. First one in, I don't know, forever. Appreciate you, JB. I'm in a shallower redraft league with 12 teams, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. I'm pick 11. Which players are you targeting there? Would you consider a top quarterback? Thanks. Give me the full breakdown, JB, of the team or the starting roster and how many. Is it 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 1 tight end? And also, while I wait for JB to answer that, I'll give him a second there, and then I'll just answer it if he doesn't type again. We'll answer some other questions. Do you think this tourney is a huge overlay again? Yes, I do. 70% would be a good fill rate for them. Are you buying in the Puka hype? I draft them sometimes. Okay, JB says yep. So I would, at the pick 11, I mean, it depends how the room. If you know your fellow drafters are like casual running back lovers and you're not going to be able to get anyone back here and you want to make sure you don't get buried at running back, I would go one of Bijan, Pollard, or Chubb, someone like that. Let's go. Let's get Corey Davis too. We just got all the Jets wideouts. We're going thin at running back. We're going to take running back with our last pick here. 4-point passing, half PPR. Yeah, so I would go one of the running backs. Try to get one of Bijan, Pollard, or Chubb. Take your pick there. And then try to get like Garrett Wilson, or if Diggs or A.J. Brown makes it to you, or Lamb, one of those 5 wide receivers, or Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's how I would do it. Okay, we're on the clock in the 555 at pick 100. Dalvin's here. I don't have a lot of Dalvin. Let's get a Dalvin share. I didn't expect that. I don't want 0 Dalvin. All right. Need a running back here with our last pick. Tons of guys I could grab. Did Michael Carter? Oh, he just went. Reset. I'm fine with Zach Evans. A gamble that he's the RB2. So we ended up with a 2.763. Oh, no, that's not right at all. We did not end up with a 2.763. We ended up with a 3.593. Trevor and Dak, along with Brock Purdy, way past ADP. Bijan Pollard, Damian Pierce, Jerick McKinnon, Zach Evans. This running back room has the high-end pieces in Robinson, Pollard, Pierce. The real question is, what is McKinnon and Zach Evans giving me? I need some weeks from them to be able to win this contest. I don't think these three by themselves can do it. Wideout room, we got high-end guys and Ridley and Kirk that stack. We got Michael Thomas, a bet on upside. We got Lazard, betting on touchdowns. We got Rashee Rice, an upside bet. Hodgins, the hope is he's the one there. Mechie, the hope is he's the 1 or 2. Hardman and Davis, I expect to play for the Jets. It's a little bit of like, if it's not Lazard, it's these two guys. We got Kittle, Laporta, Juwan at tight end. I think that is perfectly strong enough. Obviously, you need Kittle to produce some strong spike weeks and these guys to do enough. I like the team overall. I think it could use another running back sometimes. So sometimes I would cut out Hardman and Davis. Sometimes I would cut out just one of them and add another running back. Appreciate you, JB. Good luck in your draft. Why Brock if you're already betting on Trevor and Dak? Because I think he has some upside with Kittle. Pairing your quarterback with your tight end is usually a good thing to do. Maybe he only adds, like, let's say, thought experiment. Let's say there's 2 weeks where Purdy scores 30 and Trevor and Dak score, 15. So he adds 30 points to my roster. Probably should be another running back, but, this way this team can also survive. Like, Dak misses weeks 1 through 4 and then returns and plays well. Trevor misses weeks 7 through 9, right? So it's like, yes, in general, I'm going to quarterback here, but not always. And again, just adding another running back body. But, the hope for this team, if things smash, it's like these wide receivers smash, these tight ends crush, these quarterbacks crush, and then Bijan and Pollard are both top 5 running backs, if not higher. Ideally, they're top 3, right? It's like these two and CMC in the mix for it. CMC gets hurt. These two are just like the skeleton key. Damian Pierce averages 20 points per game, maybe more. McKinnon gives you a bunch of weeks. Zach Evans is the RB2 or RB1B. So there's cases for it. Yeah. All right, guys. So we'll be back next week. Going to take the weekend off as usual. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. When I end this broadcast, going to focus on this 555. When I end this broadcast, if you could refresh the stream and just drop any comment, that'd really help me out. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys and girls.